Today I'm going to be talking about RedBubble and its pros and cons, but for now, cue that infomercial music. I've got some selling out to do. Our first product is this tote bag featuring a lining to protect your bag from any messes. Next is this studio pouch which can fit so many pins into it, all of your art supplies. This hardcover journal will cover all of your needs from ruled line, graph, or blank pages. Do you want to send your loved one a greeting card? Well, search no further, RedBubble is the place. Personally, I just bought this as a sort of replacement for that original that I sold on Store Envy. Looking for a phone case that is both adorable and durable? Look no further, RedBubble has your back. Looking for stickers that you can stick all over your belongings? Of course, RedBubble can supply you with 3 different variety of sizes of stickers. Simply looking for prints? Of course, RedBubble gotcha. Do you want a giant pillowcase for a pillow you can't find in Canada? Same. And finally, probably the most regretful purchase from Kasey in 2018, or perhaps her whole life. I kind of expected it, but this dress is pretty much a potato bag. Okay, so before we get into the pros and the cons and the who's it what's it's, we have to know, what is RedBubble? RedBubble is what you would call a print-on-demand company where artists upload their artwork to be printed on everything from notebooks, t-shirts, mugs, posters, stickers, phone cases, tote bags, you name it. Really, the list is ridiculous. Leggings? Even leggings, but I wouldn't dare put my poor artwork on leggings. Anyways, it's basically a very accessible way for artists to get their artwork printed without having to commit to, bulk orders that can cost hundreds to thousands of dollars. With RedBubble, you don't need to spend a dime to sell your products, and you also don't have to have a closet dedicated to shipping supplies and products. Really, have you ever sold stuff on your own? I need a whole storage system for what I have, and I don't even sell that much. Anyways, how RedBubble works is you simply upload your art or your design and choose which products you want it to be available as. Personally, I usually disable things like leggings and mugs because it's just not what I intended my art for, and it just doesn't look good, doesn't look right. I normally stick to things like prints and a few other things like phone cases, tote bags, and notebooks. You can also choose the orientation of your art on the product as well as make a repeating pattern. The repeating patterns are really fun to make and play around with, which I have done a few times, especially if you have an image with a plain, like a white background or something. I've made a few patterns specifically for RedBubble and they were so much fun to make, and they're just really simple and cute, and I really like the way they look, as you already saw with the products. And I think they are so stinking cute. Once you choose the products you want, you name the design, put some tags on it, all of that jazz, and you're ready to start making some dollar bit. Well, more like penny coins, because let's be honest, RedBubble doesn't pay for butts. Though I've heard there are artists out there that are making a living off of RedBubble sales. You really have to work really hard, I think, to make a really great RedBubble portfolio that supports you. You can also set the percentage of the payment you get when a product sells. But remember that the higher you make the percentage you make, the more it will sell for. So basically you're upping the cost of that product so that you make more money. RedBubble products are already a bit pricey, so if you're expecting to get a real profit from them, you'll probably make even less sales. Personally, I like to keep the percentage at what RedBubble defaults to, which is around 20%, I think. To be honest, I'm not going to RedBubble to make bank, but it's good for a little extra spending cash every month. So why is it that I made a RedBubble if not for the money? Like I said, I didn't go to RedBubble to start making lots of money off of my prints of my artwork. The one and only reason I made a RedBubble to begin with is because I stopped selling prints of my own work on my Store Envy shop, and I was getting so many requests to bring them back. And once I opened up a RedBubble, I started to get a lot of questions about it, so here I am making a video about RedBubble. I really enjoyed selling my own prints, and I liked that people wanted to have one. It made me sad that people couldn't purchase anything. There were so many requests, and I felt bad after every single request. So that's when I had to turn to RedBubble. As my audience grew on YouTube and the demand to own a piece of my artwork, I guess, exploded, I simply didn't have enough time to package all of those dang prints myself. It was a lot of work. You have to make sure that the art won't bend. Packaging is so fun to personalize, and I was always writing a note to the buyer, going to the post office with loads of orders. It's all fun and I love packaging them, but when it took hours and hours out of the week to do it, I just didn't have the time because I was wanting to focus more time on my YouTube channel, and it just wasn't worth the time that I was putting into it. So that is why I went to RedBubble, because all you have to do is upload your artwork and they do the rest. They print the product, they mail it out, and they also do all of the communicating with whoever bought it, including any shipping problems you might have, or I guess printing problems, product problems, any questions. They handle all of that, and I'm not sitting there every week answering 100 emails and questions. It can get really time consuming when it adds up. The trade-off with this service is, like I said, you barely make any money, which makes sense because RedBubble is doing most of the work. Sure, your art is time-consuming and you do put a lot of effort into it, but once you've run a shop yourself like StoreEnvy or Etsy, you'll know just how much time you are saving when you pass this work onto RedBubble. So with me personally, time is a much more valuable resource as a YouTube channel takes a lot of time and effort, and something just had to give, and that was my StoreEnvy shop. So with RedBubble, you can still own a little something with my artwork on it. I get the extra time of not having to process orders myself, and everyone is happy. Like I said, I'm only making a bit of extra spending money every month through RedBubble, but I've been so much more happier to have the extra free time. So it's a good trade-off and something that I guess I just found more valuable. If you are someone who doesn't have the funds or time to order a bunch of prints or other products in bulk and then ship them out yourself like me, RedBubble is a great option. So let's weigh the pros and cons of a RedBubble shop, and maybe you can decide if you want to start posting your own artwork as well to sell. Pros to selling on RedBubble. Number one, they do all of the work. With RedBubble, it's as simple as uploading your artwork and making those sweet, sweet pennies and leaving you to have more time to make more art. Number two, variety. Your artwork is available on so many products. That's it, really. Number three, no commitment. You don't have to commit to ordering 100 notebooks and 300 prints to have the risk of them not selling and end up losing money. With RedBubble, you can not only see which of your art is more popular, but also see which items people are more interested in buying, like stickers or prints. Also, no commitment in the sense that it's not like RedBubble is asking you to have a contract or anything. You just upload it or delete it whenever, and they don't own your stuff. Number four, searchability. I think it's really easy for people to find your work on RedBubble in comparison to a shop like StoreEnvy. Etsy also has a good search tool as well, but I think if you want your own shop, it's up to you to promote yourself, whereas RedBubble has a search function and you put keywords into your art. And number five, quality. It's a good quality from what I can tell. Well, except for that dress. We're not going to talk about that dress. And the cons to having a RedBubble shop. They do all the work, which is also a pro. RedBubble isn't very personal, and as an artist, that's something I enjoy and miss about selling my own artwork. I like sending a note to my buyer and having that personal connection. You don't get that with RedBubble. It's very much like Amazon for your art. Number two is payment. Like I said, you make 20 cents to maybe $2 if you're lucky on a product sold. While it is good for extra spending money, I wouldn't go to RedBubble thinking you are going to make a living off of what you sell. Like I said, people apparently do that, but man, I can't imagine. And the third con is no fan art. I don't mind this rule personally. To be honest, I don't care about selling fan art, but you can't post fan art to sell on RedBubble. There are thousands of fan arts despite this rule for some reason, but you can get in trouble if you sell it, so there's that if you are concerned about selling fan art. And that's it. To be honest, I don't think there's anything wrong with selling on RedBubble. I think it's not like you are going to give up your rights to your work when you upload something, and there's just no harm to it. You post your work, forget about it, and maybe make a few bucks. I think it's worth it, and there's still the question of, should you get a RedBubble or a shop? Like I said, I think it just depends on what you want. In my case, I had to weigh the importance of time or money, of which I chose time. If you want to test the waters of selling prints or your work online, but you don't want to commit or don't have the funds to commit, RedBubble is the perfect option for this. It's a good place to start earning funds so that you can run your own personal shop in the future. If you want to earn more profits from your products and have more personal connection with your customers, I would definitely recommend running a shop like Etsy or StoreNV over RedBubble. There are a lot of great sources out there that talk about shops like RedBubble. There's this great podcast called The Art Corner by a couple of fantastic artists I've been following named Anusha and Vicky. They have 2 episodes on selling your art online, and I would definitely recommend giving them a listen because they do talk about a lot of really useful and good topics about art. I'll have their links in the description. Okay, I think that's about all I really have to say about RedBubble. I hope you learned a thing or two about it, and maybe you can start making a few bucks. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Thank you so much to all of my patrons, including Michael Yun, Zach Abstract, Lex CS, Shelby, Megan, Chris Side, Davey Tomato, Cool Guy Josh, Mina Blix, Hey Lucy, Eddie, Mackenzie, Maureen A, Pi, Loganites, Maya, Leah Shibutani, Drizzle, Ria Damaraju, Pencil Art Madness, Cindy J. If you want a shout out at the end of my videos, access to my sketchbook, coloring pages, and more, become my patron by clicking the link in the description. Thank you all so much for the support. Bye!